Dear friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you OLED versus LED. Which type of TV display is better? I am telling so that you can buy the right TV from the market. Now it is available in the online market as well as the TV shop and its store. I am telling about it, dear friends. Watch my video till the end and subscribe my channel. My videos, don't forget to comment on OLED versus LED. Which kind of TV display is better? Shopping for a new TV sounds like it could be fun and exciting. The prospect of a gleaming new panel adorning your living room wall is enough to give you goosebumps. But with all the brands to choose from and different smart capabilities, we can explain what a smart TV is two-way as well as the latest picture tech to consider. It can be daunting. In this video we compare OLED versus LED technology to see which is better for today's modern TVs. Once you determine which panel type is best for you. If you're in the market for a TV, you have likely heard the hype regarding OLED models. They are thin, light, and offer incredible contrast and color that's second to none. OLED is only one letter apart from the more common display type, LED, so what gives? Can they really be that different? In a word, yes. That extra makes a big difference, but it doesn't automatically mean an OLED TV will beat an LED TV in every use case. Some TV manufacturers use their own technology, LED QLED, to confuse consumers even more. Make sure that you spend some time looking at a comparison piece, QLED versus OLED technology, before you make your purchase decision. When OLED TVs first arrived in 2013, they were lauded for their perfect black levels and excellent color, but they took a bit of a hit due to brightness levels that couldn't compete with LED TVs. There was also a huge price gap between OLED TVs, not to be confused with QLED, and their premium LED counterparts. In fact, thought has it that OLED used to mean only big businessmen could afford them. Thankfully, that's no longer the case. OLED TVs are much brighter than they used to be, and the prices have come down. The LED market is due for a bit of a shake-up, too. For now, however, it's time to take a look at how these two technologies differ and explore the strengths and weaknesses of each. If you're in the going-in market for a purchase new TV, what does LED TV mean? Non-OLED TVs are made of two main parts, an LCD panel and a backlight. The LCD panel contains the pixels, the little colored dots that make up a TV's image. On their own, pixels cannot be seen, they require a backlight. When light from the backlight shines through an LCD pixel, you can see its color. The LED in LED TV simply refers to how the backlight is made. In the past, a thicker and less efficient technology, LED CCFL, cold cathode fluorescent light, was used. But these days, virtually every flat-screen TV uses LEDs as its source of backlighting. Thus, when you see the term LED TV, it simply refers to an LED backlit LCD TV. That said, not all LED TVs are created equal. There can be differences in the number and quality of the LEDs used, which leads to differences in things like brightness and black levels. You may also have seen something LED QLED TV. This is a type of LED TV that uses quantum dots to achieve better brightness and color. A great overview of the differences between QLED and OLED TVs. What does OLED TV mean? The OLED in OLED TV stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. OLED have the unusual property of being able to produce both light and color from a single diode when they're fed electricity. Because of this, OLED TV don't need a separate backlight. Each pixel you see is a self-contained source of color and light. Some of the inherent benefits of OLED screens are that they can be extremely thin, flexible, and even roll-able. But the biggest benefit when we compare them OLED TV is that each individual pixel receives its own luminance and power, as opposed to OLED TV, which have persistent pixels that require an external source of light to see. When it's on, you can see it. When it's off, it emits no light at all, it's completely black. Is QLED the same as OLED? Though they don really similar acronyms, an OLED TV is not the same as a QLED TV. The latter is actually based on LED tech, but it uses a technique that overlays self-emissive quantum dots over the pixels that help produce better brightness, vividness, and color accuracy. QLED is more of an iterative step than a generational leap, and though we'd certainly recommend buying one. Compared to micro OLED, if things weren't confusing enough, there's also a new player LED micro OLED that's starting to show up after years of anticipation. Despite the name, Micro OLED has more in common with OLED than LED. This technology creates super tiny, modular LED panels that combine light emission and color like OLED screens do, minus the organic part. For now, the technology is primarily being used for extra-large wall TV, where colors, blacks, and off-angle viewing are excellent but with more potential for greater brightness and durability than OLED TV. For the average consumer, micro OLED isn't anything to consider yet. It remains difficult to say down to less than gigantic TV, and it's unlikely to hit homes for another couple of years when it will still be exceedingly expensive. Of course, that was once true of OLED, which is why this tech is worth keeping an eye on for a future TV replacement. Which is better, OLED TV or LED TV? Now it's time to pit these two technologies against each other and see how they stack up when it comes to traits such as contrast, viewing angle, brightness, and other performance considerations. OLED TV are still a premium display. We have compared OLED only to equally premium LED TV armed with similar performance potential. Black level. A display's ability to produce deep, dark blacks is arguably the most important factor in achieving excellent picture quality. Deeper blacks allow for higher contrast and richer colors, among other things, and thus a more realistic and dazzling image. When it comes to black levels, OLED reigns as the undisputed champion. LED TV rely on LED backlights shining behind an LCD panel. Even with advanced dimming technology, which selectively dims LEDs that don't need to be on at full blast, LED TV have historically struggled LED to produce dark blacks and can suffer from an effect LED light bleed, where lighter sections of the screen create a hatch or bloom in adjacent darker areas. OLED TV suffer from none of the black level problems of traditional LED TV. If an OLED pixel isn't getting electricity, it doesn't produce any light and is, therefore, totally black. Sounds like an obvious choice to us. Brightness. When it comes to brightness, LED TV have a considerable advantage. Their backlights can be made from large and powerful LEDs. With the addition of quantum dots, that brightness can be preserved even as the size of the individual LEDs gets smaller. OLED TV can get pretty bright, too, and with such dark black levels, the contrast between the brightest and darkest spots on screen is all the more exaggerated. But cranking OLED pixels to their maximum brightness for extended periods reduces their lifespan, and the pixel takes slightly longer to return to total black. With those considerations in mind, it's important to note that all modern TV, whether OLED, LED, or QLED, produce more than adequate brightness. The consideration then becomes where the TV will be used. In a dark room, an OLED TV is going to perform best, while LED TV will outshine them, quite literally, in more brightly lit environments. It should also be noted that there have been big gains recently in OLED brightness, making them perfectly suitable for nearly any situation, save direct sunlight beaming onto the screen. Still, when compared directly, LED TV have the edge. Color space. OLED used to rule this category, but by improving the purity of the backlight, quantum dots have allowed LED TV to surge forward in color accuracy, color brightness, and color volume, putting them on par with OLED TV. Those looking for TV with wide color gamut or HDR will find both OLED and LED TV models that support these features. OLED's better contrast ratio is going to give it a slight edge in terms of HDR when viewed in dark rooms, but HDR on a premium LED TV screen has an edge because it can produce well-saturated colors at extreme brightness levels that OLED can't quite match. Response time, refresh rate, and input lag. Response time refers to the time it takes for each individual pixel to change states. A pixel state is not only its color, but also its brightness. With a faster response time, you get less motion blur and fewer artifacts, source material notwithstanding. Because OLED pixels combine the light source and the color in a single diode, they can change states incredibly fast. By contrast, LED TV use LED to produce brightness and tiny LCD shutters to create color. While the LED brightness can be changed in an instant, LCD shutters are by their nature slower to respond to state changes. OLED currently offers the fastest response time of any TV technology in use today. Refresh rate is how often the entire image on screen changes. The faster the rate, the smoother things look, and the easier it is to pick out details in fast-moving content like sports. Most new TV are capable of refresh rates of 120 Hz, which means the entire image is updated 120 times every second. Some go as high as 240 Hz. If refresh rate was simply a matter of Hz, we'd allow LED TV the winner, simply because it can achieve rates of up to 1000 times higher than LED TV. But absolute speed isn't the only consideration. Unlike movies and TV shows, which use a single refresh rate, Video games often employ something LED variable refresh rates, which simply means that the rate changes during different parts of a game. If a TV can't match these rate changes, you end up with image tearing, a visible jerkiness that comes from the disparity between the rate the game is using and the rate the TV wants to use. That's why gamers, in particular, want TV that can handle VRR or variable refresh rate. It's a rare feature on both OLED and LED TV, but you can expect to see it show up on more models in both types of TV. Right now, you can find VRR in certain. But neither OLED nor LED TV have a real advantage when it comes to VRR. Some models have the feature, and some don't. Your gaming system also has to support VRR, though that shouldn't be much of an issue if you own a new Xbox Series X, PS5, or even a PS4/One X. Finally, input lag is the gap in time between when you press a button on a game controller and the corresponding action shows up on screen. Input lag can be a problem when TV introduce a lot of picture processing that causes a slowdown in the signal they receive. But most modern TV have a game mode, which eliminates the processing and reduces input lag to barely discernible levels. In the future, all TV will be able to sense the presence of a video game and switch to this mode automatically, returning to the processed mode when gaming stops. OLED takes this one on its strength in response times. Viewing angles. With LED TV, the best viewing angle is dead center, and the picture quality diminishes in both color and contrast the further you move to either side. While the severity differs between models, it's always noticeable. For its LED TV, uses a type of LCD panel known as IPS, which has slightly better off-angle performance than V-type LCD panels, but it suffers in the black level department in contrast to rival V panels, and it's no competition for OLED. Samsung's priciest QLED TV feature updated panel design and anti-reflective coating, which make off-angle viewing much less of an issue. While OLED still beats these models out in the end, the gap is closing quickly. That said, OLED TV can be viewed with no luminance degradation at drastic viewing angles, up to 84 degrees. Compared to most LED TV, which have been tested to allow for a max viewing angle of 54 degrees at best, OLED has a clear advantage. Size. OLED have come a long way in this category. When the tech was still nascent, OLED screens were often dwarfed by LED LCD displays. As OLED manufacturing has improved, the number of respectively large OLED displays has increased, now pushing 88 inches, but they're still dwarfed by the largest LED TV, which can easily hit 100 inches in size, and with new technologies, well beyond. Lifespan. You'd have to watch its OLED TV 5 hours a day for 54 years before they'd fall to 50% brightness. Whether that's true remains to be seen, as OLED TV have only been out in the wild since 2013. For that reason, and that reason only, we will award this category OLED TV. It pays to have a proven track record. Is it healthy for you? Can one kind of TV be healthier for you than another? If you believe that we need to be careful about our exposure to light, especially toward the evening, then the answer could be yes. Both OLED and LED TV produce light, but OLED TV produce considerably less of it. LG claims its OLED panels only generate 34% light versus LED TV's 64%. That stat has been independently verified, and company OLED panels have been given an Eye Comfort Display certification by TÜV Rheinland, a standards organization based out of Germany. Will it make a difference to your overall health? We think the jury is still out, but if blue light is a concern, you should take a serious look at OLED TV. Power consumption. OLED panels require no backlight, and each individual pixel is extremely energy efficient. LED TV need a backlight to produce brightness. Since LEDs are less energy efficient than OLED, and their light must pass through the LCD shutters before it reaches your eyes, these panels must consume more power for the same level of brightness. Screen burn-in. We include this section begrudgingly, both because burn-in is a misnomer and, for most folks, the effect will not be an issue. The effect we have come to know as burn-in stems from the days of the boxy CRT TV when the prolonged display of a static image would cause an image to appear to burn into the screen. What was actually happening was the phosphors that coated the back of the TV screen would glow for extended periods of time without any rest, causing them to wear out and create the appearance of a burned-in image. We think this should be LED burnout, but we will set that one aside. The same issue is at play with plasma and OLED TV because the compounds that light up can degrade over time. If you burn a pixel long and hard enough, it will dim prematurely ahead of the rest of the pixels, creating a dark impression. In reality, this is not very likely to cause a problem for most people. You'd have to abuse the TV intentionally to get it to happen. Even the bug, logographic, that certain channels use disappears often enough or is made clear to avoid causing burn-in issues. That said, the potential is there, and it should be noted. This is also a contributing factor in the dearth of OLED computer monitors on the market, as computer screens are far more likely to display a static image for hours on end. Price. OLED TV are premium TV and almost always likely to be more expensive than an LED version of the same size. However, we have seen prices starting to drop down to manageable levels recently, especially if there are any discounts running. MSRPs can go as low as 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh rupees, but you probably won't find many lower than that. Conversely, LED TV can range in price from a few $100s, even for a quality big screen model, to several $1,000s, making them overall more accessible than OLEDs. While prices of the highest quality LED TV hover at nearly the same range as the price of OLEDs, when judged by price and price alone, LED TV can still be acquired for a pittance in comparison. In terms of picture quality, OLED TV still beat LED TV, even though the latter technology has seen many improvements of late. OLED is also lighter and thinner, uses less energy, offers the best viewing angle by far, and, though still a little more expensive, has come down in price considerably. OLED is the superior TV technology today. If this article were about value alone, LED TV would still win, but OLED has come a long way in a short time and deserves the crown for its achievements. Regardless of which technology you ultimately decide on, that's not the only factor that you need to consider. So be sure to check TV buying guide to make sure you're buying the right TV to meet your needs. Dear friends, thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel and don't forget to comment on my video. I will keep making these types of useful videos in future, so stay connected and make sure to subscribe the channel. My channel is growing continuously due to your support. Thank you.